All right, looks like we're live. So
Yay!
let's talk about video games. We decided we wanted to do podcasts a little more often than just our yearly thing. So we're gonna kick off 2017 by talking about our top games that we're looking forward to play this year. Maybe they're games that are coming out, or maybe they're games that we have that we just haven't beat, or maybe they're even games we've already beat and we want to play again. So I don't really have mine ranked or anything. I just thought we'd take turns going through our lists, or maybe do like 5 at a time or something.
Okay.
What do you think?
Well, let me start
Sure.
by asking you if you watched the Nintendo Switch reveal.
I did not. I just saw some of the trailers for like the Zelda game and the Mario game that are coming out.
So I've always been really excited for Breath of the Wild, and I do hope to be able to play that this year. I think I might not get a Switch right away. I'll probably wait till Christmas time, but I think if I do get it around Christmas time, I'll be really excited to play both Breath of the Wild and the new Mario game.
So are you
Because that
holding
Mario
out
game
for
looks
it?
insane.
So you're going to hold out for the Switch? You're not going to get it?
Yeah, I think so. I thought, I might get it for the Wii U, but it'll definitely be better on the Switch because the capabilities of the Switch are better. And it probably won't be that much of a noticeable difference. But I already have so many games I'm playing and need to play that I figure I can afford to wait.
Yeah.
So,
My feeling is I don't really want to buy a Switch just for one game.
right.
If the Switch becomes worth it in a year or two, then maybe I'll go for it. But for now, I'm not really interested in that. So I'm going to wait on Breath of the Wild to hear the Wii U reviews. And if they're decent, then I'll probably get that game for the Wii U. But
yeah, it's a good plan.
That one did make my list, though. And actually, I wanted to add, what is it called? Mario Odyssey? Is that what it's called?
Yeah. Super Mario Odyssey.
Mario Odyssey. After seeing the trailer for that, I definitely wanted to add that to my list as well. Although I'm guessing that's Switch exclusive. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a spinoff from Abe's Odyssey.
Yeah. That would be nice. Hello, it's me, Mario. Cool. Well,
yeah,
awesome.
I love those Mario games.
Yeah, are there any Switch games that you're looking forward to?
I saw all the ones coming out, and honestly, those are the only two that really interested me. I'm sure other ones will come along. I do want to try the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which is coming out on Switch, because they redid a battle mode. Did you ever play Mario Kart 8?
I don't think so.
On the Wii U, yeah. Well, if you remember some of the earlier Mario Karts, they had battle mode, which was awesome because you like go around in arenas and you have 3 balloons.
Yeah.
And Mario Kart 8 was like almost perfect in every way, except their battle mode was just on a track, and you'd have to find people on a track. And
I remember in Mario Kart Super, or well, I guess it was Mario Kart 64 probably. They had these battle arenas and you had to like pop each other's balloons. Is that what?
Yeah, those are the best.
That was the funnest stuff we did.
Mario Kart 8 like had everything perfect except battle mode was like nothing like it had been in Mario Kart 64. But in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which is only on the Switch, they're bringing in a new battle mode that is just like the Mario 64 one. Or Mario Kart 64. Jocelyn tells me there's a new Sherlock, which we need to watch.
Oh yeah, that's live for.
We're live here.
We need to watch that series. I mean, this season. So I was gonna say, the only other thing that I think could maybe convince me to get a Nintendo Switch is a new Metroid game, especially if it's like a Prime style game. Although even
I agree,
side-scrolling Metroid game would be awesome.
Yeah, but the thing is, Nintendo knows that there's a hardcore fan base that loves Metroid, but they never they just don't sell enough, and so everyone says it's very unlikely that Nintendo's going to make a Metroid like
they don't sell enough everywhere, or just in Japan.
Everywhere.
That's unfortunate.
I mean, as much as the people who love it, including me. That Mario and Zelda will always sell millions and millions more than a Metroid.
I mean, I guess the handheld, I'm not very familiar with the Nintendo handheld market, but it feels to me like Nintendo's counting too much on just Zelda and Mario to sell the Switch. I don't think that's enough.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
Then again, maybe third-party developers will jump on board with the Switch more.
Well, well, Skyrim is coming out on Switch.
Yeah, but Skyrim's been out for what, like 5 years?
Well, it's the remastered Skyrim. They just released a remastered Skyrim, which is going to be coming out on. But yeah, I agree. It's like, yeah, everyone's already played it probably, except me.
I also saw this funny screenshot. It was posted on Reddit or something, but they showed 4 people playing together with their individual Switch consoles.
Mm-hmm.
So they each had their own screen. But on their tiny little Switch screen, it was still divided into 4 little screens.
Yeah, and what I heard is Nintendo just showed it that way to show that they're playing together, and because it's
not actually. That would be silly. I mean, why have your own screen if it's going to divide it that small like that?
That would be stupid. Because up to 8 people can actually play with their Switches connected.
Oh,
and they're not going to divide the screen into.
So they were really just trying to imply that they're playing together. They're not just sitting at a table playing their own game. They're playing.
But yeah, it was kind of weird to see that. I agree. Well, what other games are you excited about?
Well, so obviously the Switch is the console to be excited about this year, right? I don't think there's any other hardware that we're aware of, right, that's coming out this year.
I don't think so. Well, Xbox Scorpio might be coming out at the end of this year.
Oh.
That's like the Xbox is touting it as the most powerful console ever built, and they say it's going to be really nice.
Oh, I assumed it was already out along with the PlayStation Pro. Is that not the same?
No.
Oh.
No. PlayStation Pro is like comparable to the Xbox One S as far as what it can do. It's not that big of an improvement. But the Xbox Scorpio is going to be a huge improvement, is what they're saying.
Huh.
PlayStation Pro is just like an incremental increase in power.
Well, but in the PlayStation Pro, don't they claim that any game released for the Pro can still work on the PS4?
Right, yeah.
So is Scorpio different? Are they actually
well, they haven't told us everything yet. And honestly, I've never owned an Xbox, and I don't plan on buying an Xbox, although there are some pretty sweet games coming out that seem to be... The thing is, the reason I don't own an Xbox is because most of the games that come out on Xbox come out on Steam also.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you're being economical about it, it makes more sense to own a PlayStation if you already have a computer that can play Microsoft games.
Well, and my personal preference is PlayStation exclusives are the ones I'm more interested in anyway.
Right.
Unless maybe Halo or something, but I'm not that interested in that. So,
speaking of which, have you played more Uncharted 2?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, today I played some more. I'm very close to finishing it, I think. I keep thinking I'm in the last level, and then I...
Which part are you at?
I got to a part where we're in a temple. I think I finally found Shambhala, which is like the place you're looking for from the start. But now we're there, and there's these beasts attacking us. And I think it's like the 3rd time the beasts have shown up in the game. So I feel like it's the end. I mean, I'm in the same room as all the like villains that I've been chasing the whole game and everything. So
yeah, you probably have like an hour left of that game or something, or less.
Yeah, I almost beat it today, but I turned it off. I'm excited; it'll be good. I also started another game today, Fallout 3, which I purchased it and started it on Steve Loper's recommendation because when we did our top 10 podcast at the end of last year, he said, "I'll play Dark Souls if you guys play Fallout." So I decided, okay, well, I love Dark Souls enough to try something new, so I started Fallout 3.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, no, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say, I put a couple of hours into Fallout 3 myself. By the way, you didn't have to buy it. You could have just played it on my account.
Hi, I'm recording.
Hi, Addie.
Say hi to everybody. I'm recording.
I want you to see my hair.
That's really cool looking. Can you show the people in the camera? She's got her blue streak in her hair.
Nice.
Hey, give me a kiss. Good night. Okay. Looks cool. Okay, good night.
I really liked. Oh, sorry.
Oh, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It's on Hulu. It's really funny.
You guys watching that? That was one we wanted to start.
So we actually just watched a movie called Storks. Have you seen that movie?
Yeah, we've seen that.
It was actually really, really good. I liked it a lot. But
Yeah,
Andy Samberg is the main stork.
Oh, does he?
He's also in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He's really funny. That show's really funny. So
That's funny.
I've
Yeah,
watched
I
probably
like
the
that
first
movie.
2 seasons of that show, and Jennifer hasn't watched it, so I told her she should watch it.
Cool.
Anyway, what were we talking about?
Fallout 3. So yeah. So what do you think of it so far?
I gotta be honest, it's not pulling me in. I mean, I don't really know much about those games, but I've seen gameplay here and there, and I've always been kind of like not sure about it. And now that I've started it, I'm kind of, I mean, I'm going to keep pushing through. I think I'll eventually get more into it, but it feels a little more like the same way I felt with Oblivion when I started playing Oblivion.
Same game makers. So I mean, same developer.
Yeah.
Bethesda.
It didn't feel like the kind of game I'm really able to sink my teeth.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, I'm going to keep pushing forward, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, here's the thing about Bethesda games, because I put a couple hours, and I see the appeal, but the thing is, I think if we'd played Fallout 3 when it was brand new, we'd be more into it.
Yeah,
But now it does feel a little dated when you play it now.
for sure.
And the thing about Bethesda games is, like, you can do anything they say practically, but you can also, like, screw up your game. Like, it's so easy to screw up your game, and like, I feel like I did that. Like, when I played Morrowind, which was the prequel to Oblivion, I remember going into a shop, or like a town. There was a guild there, and there was just something on the table, and I picked up the thing on the table because I wanted to examine it, and I hadn't saved in like an hour of gameplay, and everyone said, "Thief, thief," and they all thought I was a thief, and so they started chasing me just because I picked up this dumb thing off the table. So I like ran away, and then they killed me, and I was like, this is so dumb. Now I have to like go an hour back because I picked something off the table.
This is exactly what happened with me when in Oblivion. I had never played a game like that before. I started running through this first area, and I picked up every single item I could because I assumed, I got to collect every item. And it got to the point where I was over encumbered and couldn't move. I was just sitting there, and I couldn't move. And I felt stupid because I couldn't even figure out how to like drop stuff, and I didn't want to drop stuff because I didn't know what I needed to keep and all that. And it just like bothered me that I didn't feel like
it requires a lot of investment. Like Dark Souls requires investment too, but for whatever reason, it's more fun to like invest in figuring out Dark Souls than it is to invest in figuring out Fallout for me.
Yeah.
Even
so this literally, I've only played maybe an hour of Fallout, and it's kind of interesting how it starts. Like you actually start being born, and then the doctor's like, look, it's and then it pauses, and you choose whether you're a boy or a girl.
Yeah.
And then like the story kicks off where it's like, we're going to do this little thing and figure out what you're going to look like as an adult. And then it goes into the character creator, and you actually create what you're going to look like. I thought that was pretty creative and interesting. Then it like flashes forward to when you're 10 years old and you have your 10th birthday, just to kind of learn the basics. It's sort of like the tutorial of the level.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I got to the point where I was actually playing the game, and very quickly it starts the plot where you're supposed to kind of like run away from the vault that you're in. And I immediately like got into a situation where I'm stuck, like you said, where I don't feel like it broke the game, but I feel like I'm gonna have to go back and maybe even start over. I don't know what I'm gonna do, because now I'm being chased by like 4 guys, and I only have a baton to try to hit them with because I ran out of bullets with the one gun I had, and I don't know what I'm doing. But I just keep running, hoping they keep catching me. They keep catching me in a corner and killing me. So anyway,
I would, if you can, I do think you should at least get to the part where you get outside of the vault, and then you can like explore the towns and things.
That's what I mean.
I think
that's what the game's all about, right? So
yeah, I did enjoy it while I played it, but I think my problem is I tried to do some DLC for like in the first couple of hours, and I think it just like overwhelmed me a little too much.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, Fallout 3, it like Steve Loper, that's like his favorite series of all time. He's obsessed with those games.
When I see other people posting about how much they love Fallout 4, and I kind of want to be a part of that, but I feel like it hasn't clicked for me yet. But anyway, so that's not mine.
The truth is, there's just some games that aren't for everyone. That might be one of them.
Yeah, but I'm gonna still put in a good effort, because then I can do an "I told you so" thing if he doesn't finish Dark Souls.
Yeah,
I think he feels kind of the same way about Dark Souls. He's like, well, everyone else loves it. I need to give it a chance.
Yeah. Right.
So Uncharted 2, Fallout 3, those are on my list. What you talked about the Switch. What else? What other games do you have?
Okay, so Probably the game I'm most excited. I mean, Mario, I'm probably most excited about because after I saw that trailer, it was like, that game just looks so fun.
Yeah.
I think Mario is going to be really fun. But the second most exciting game for me is a game called Yooka-Laylee. Have you heard of it?
No, I'm gonna look it up.
I wonder, is there a possible way for like us to show the game trailer on the stream somehow?
I don't know if you can show game trailers because it's like copyrighted. I don't know if that's allowed, but you can share your screen.
Well, that's what I meant. Oh, but you don't want me to?
No, you
Well,
can.
anyway.
I'm just not sure what it'll do if you try to show a YouTube video. Try it.
Okay, so this is definitely like more my style game than yours probably.
I can watch the trailer.
But yeah, it's a 3D collectathon platformer. You know, like
Yeah,
probably
like
my favorite
Banjo-Kazooie
genre of
or
game.
something.
Exactly. In fact, it's made by the people who made Banjo-Kazooie.
Oh, yeah, it looks like Banjo. You even got like a little character behind you.
Well, and you know how Banjo-Kazooie is like the bear played a banjo and the bird sounded like a kazooie?
Yeah.
Well, this is Yooka-Laylee, like playing a ukulele, you know? So it's the exact same concept. But for all intents and purposes, it is Banjo 3, but they didn't have the rights to Banjo 3, even though they're the same makers. So they just made a new set of characters called Yooka-Laylee. So basically, it's exactly the game you would want in the Banjo-Kazooie.
So they're the same developer, but whatever publisher has the distribution rights.
Yeah, because Microsoft owns Banjo-Kazooie, and they own Rare, which is the company that made Banjo-Kazooie. But the people who made Yooka-Laylee, they're all the people. They kind of split off from Rare, and they got this game funded through Kickstarter. And I didn't kickstart it, even though I should have. But I'm definitely going to buy it when it comes out because I'm really excited about it.
That reminds me, randomly, when you said Kickstarter, isn't Psychonauts 2 supposed to be coming out? Is that this year?
Yeah, I think that is coming out this year. That's I forgot about that game because we haven't heard anything from it. But that's a game I definitely am excited about playing. And I know you love the first Psychonauts too, right?
Oh yeah. The thing is, even that Yooka-Laylee game sounds cool. It probably won't make my list this year because I have too many other things I want to try. But
yeah.
So
I'm trying to find out when Psychonauts 2 is being released, but I don't think they've said for sure.
My brother's moving out, and so he gave me his old. Well, it was our old Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and Nintendo 64, and we just plugged in the Super Nintendo. But he had a few games I forgot that we had. One of them is like my favorite Super Nintendo game besides Super Metroid. It was called Flashback. It's like this really. I don't know if anyone even knows what that game is, but
you know, well they remastered that game.
Oh really?
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Ubisoft.
Really?
You can buy a remastered version of that game on Ubisoft right now. I played the demo. You can download the demo.
I thought the graphics were amazing on the Super Nintendo back in the day. I mean, I'm sure that my memory makes them seem better than they really are, but
yeah, you should download the demo because in 2013 they re-released Flashback remastered.
Oh man, that game was so awesome. I just loved everything about it. So that one's one I might actually put on my list this year too. But then we also got like Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, and I realized I've never played Majora's Mask.
Blasphemy!
I know.
You
I don't
just
know if I
Zelda
beat
fan.
Ocarina of Time. I'm sure I beat Ocarina of Time. I must have, but
here's the thing about Majora's Mask. I did it with a walkthrough because that game can really beat you down without a walkthrough.
Well, it's funny you say that because we have one of those like old printed guides for that game in the box.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
So I may try that one out, but I don't know. That's also a lot like a big time commitment, so we'll see. But
yeah. Well, and they remastered that one too on the 3DS. I know you don't own a 3DS.
Oh, they did? I thought they only did Wind.
They did both. Yeah, Ocarina or Majora's Mask came out I think last year on 3DS.
Oh, cool.
With updated graphics and whatnot. I think Stephen Gibbons owns it, so you could borrow it from him. I'm sure you wouldn't mind if you cared.
Cool.
But
so the game you're most looking forward to is Mario, and then you said what was the other one called?
Yooka-Laylee.
And that's coming out on all platforms.
Yeah, it's coming out on everything.
Cool.
Like Switch, Xbox, PS4, PC. It'll be out on everything.
Cool. Now, is that a game you can play 2-player, or is it just
I
one?
don't think so. I think it's just one player. Yeah.
Seems like these days it would be fun if you could play like with one of your kids or something. 2-player.
Yeah. Peter and I play a lot of games together, like Rayman Legends.
Yeah.
We're playing that on PS4 together, and we really like that.
Yeah,
That's a fun one to play.
That's not one I'd like to get someday, but cool. Well, I'd say the game I'm most looking forward to beating this year is probably a game called Budget Cuts, which is I've talked about this before. That's on Vive, but I don't honestly know if it'll be released this year. But I'd say the second one I'm most looking forward to is The Last of Us, which is near the top of my list this year. Besides Uncharted 2, The Last of Us probably the next big one I'll be playing on PlayStation.
So The Last of Us that you have has some DLC called Left Behind, which I have never played, because when I played Last of Us, what?
Is it multiplayer or no?
No. When I played The Last of Us, that DLC wasn't out yet, and I played it on PS3, and then I just never bought that DLC, and then it was released on PS4, which is the version you have, and I was like, well, if I'm going to play that DLC, I should probably play it on the PS4. So when you're done with The Last of Us, I'm going to ask you to let me borrow it.
Oh, yeah.
So I can play that DLC.
The remastered HD PS4 version that I have just has the DLC with it? Is that
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't even know that. Makes sense.
Yeah, it comes with it.
Speaking of DLC, I'd say the other game I'm most looking forward to is the rest of the Dark Souls 3 DLC.
Oh, yeah. You know, I almost feel guilty that I haven't invested, because here's the thing. I would have bought the DLC and played it the same time Steven did, but when I talk to you and you're like, I'm not really going to buy it yet. I'm like, okay, fine. So then I kind of like lost interest in it. And now you've bought and beaten the first DLC, and I haven't still.
In all honesty, I'd even co-op with you when you do buy it, because it was short and fun.
Yeah.
And it was challenging, like most DLC.
Yeah.
I was disappointed that there were only 2 bosses in it, and one of them I didn't even realize was there until I looked it up. So, but it was fun. Okay, so I mean, I know you always just have an ongoing list. I've already beat a game this year, Vanishing Realms. I think I'm very close on Uncharted 2. Nice. Vanishing Realms is a Vive game. It's basically Zelda in the Vive. That was really fun. I'm thinking there might be more chapters of that game coming out this year. Another one on my list is XCOM 2, which is another one of those games that doesn't really appeal to me. It's not the kind of game I think I'm interested in, but my brother-in-law bought it for me, and he really is excited for me to play it, so I'm going to give it a chance. But
that may surprise you.
I started the tutorial, and I was just like, I don't get it. But I was also only playing for about 10 minutes. So,
yeah. Another game I'm really excited about, which I know you've played, is Dishonored. So,
are you going to do that one this year?
Yeah, so I know you had it on your account, and so I'm always like, oh, well, I'll just play it on Lauren's account. But you didn't have the DLC, and when I know there's like some good DLC out, I feel like I have to play the DLC if I'm going to play the game, you know. So I was always like waiting for like the right price to get the DLC or the Game of the Year edition, whatnot. So that's why I held off on playing it for so long, because I would have just played it on your account if you had the DLC. But anyway, during the Steam winter sale, I got the Game of the Year edition with all the DLC for $10, and I started it, and I already love it. I played like only 5 minutes of it, and I already love it. I can tell.
The gameplay is really smooth. One of my favorite part of that game is how smooth you can switch between weapons and stuff. I'd say it's one of the better built first-person shooters for that. BioShock Infinite kind of did that as well. They did a pretty good job, but Dishonored makes it really smooth. It's awesome.
Well, and the fact that Dishonored 2 just came out made me want to play it even more, because I'm like, well, I got to play Dishonored before I play Dishonored 2.
Dishonored really.
And I've heard really good things about Dishonored 2. That's when I know if you like the first one, I'm sure you'll like the second one too.
That's one of those things where I'm going to wait till it's cheap. But
yeah.
I actually have that on my list with a question mark. Dishonored 2 question mark. I basically just listed a bunch of games that I have on my backlog, things that I've started. I mean, I even have The Walking Dead Season 1 on here because I never did finish that. I have Elder Scrolls Oblivion on my list because I did start it, and I feel like I need to give it another chance. Salt and Sanctuary is another one. Have you heard of that one?
Yes, that's on my list too. You played that, haven't you?
I own it. It's on I have it on the PlayStation 4, but
You've played some of it, but not beaten it.
that game came out between Dark Souls 2 and Dark Souls 3. And it was one of those things where between Bloodborne and Dark Souls 3, I guess. And everyone was just really hungry for some sort of Dark Souls game. And it's a side-scrolling platformer, but it has a Dark Souls feeling to it. And cool. But you can play multiplayer with that as well. Or co-op.
Yeah, I remember you saying you and Jennifer did some co-op with it, didn't you?
Yeah.
That's so cool. Ori and the Blind Forest. Have you heard of that game?
I feel like someone talked about it in our... I can't remember.
I think maybe it's one I said I was interested in playing.
And the Blind Forest or in the Blind Forest?
Ori and the Blind Forest. So here's the thing. As much as you love Super Metroid, there have been so many good 2D Metroid games that have come out in the past 5 or 6 years. They're just not called Metroid.
Right.
And this is one of them. The reviews I've read for Ori and the Blind Forest, people say it's one of the best Metroid type games in years. And I bought it during the Steam sale, and I've already put like 3 hours into it, and it's awesome.
Cool.
So you should definitely play this through my account. You don't need to buy it; just play it through my account. But it's a really,
because I officially don't have access anymore. I tried opening.
You tried?
I tried opening
really?
Arcanite, and it said you need to get permission again or something.
Did you request access? Did you click the request access button?
I don't remember.
Try it again, and because sometimes when it says you have to request access, and then there's an option.
It did say that, and I clicked it, and it said the person needs to be here and log in on this computer.
Yeah, so sometimes when it says that to me, I'll keep trying, and eventually it'll say, "Oh, we've discovered you already have access, so here you go." But sometimes we just have to redo it. Yeah. So next time we're gaming, just remind me, and we'll set that up again.
Cool.
But I also gave Jennifer access, I remember, so maybe her account still has access.
I'll have to check.
Anyway, Ori and the Blind Forest. That's a game I think you would love too, because you love Metroid. And
I just added it to the list.
There's so many other Metroid games like that, like Guacamelee. Have you heard of that game? Guacamelee.
Yeah. Actually,
that was one of my favorite. I bet you do. That was one of my favorite games from last year, I think. Or not from 2016, but 2015. That's another like 2D Metroid, and it was so good. That game was excellent.
That reminds me, I just paid for the Humble Bundle, I think, to get Warhammer Vermintide, right? Didn't a bunch of other games come with that? I need to go check that and see what other games.
Yeah, they did. I can't remember what they were, but yeah, there were a bunch of.
So the rest of the games on my list are like little ones that I heard you guys talking about in our top 10 that I made a big dump. So, I have Borderlands 2 on here, which I am playing again.
Oh, yeah.
Vertigo, which is another Vive game that I've been wanting to play. Lords of the Fallen. I only played Lords of the Fallen for maybe a half hour on the PlayStation 4 that month that it was free, and I really liked it. But I'm realizing since I'm no longer playing for the PlayStation Network, does that mean I don't have it anymore?
Oh, you ended your payments?
Yeah.
So you did the year and then you didn't renew, right?
Yeah, but I mean I could renew anytime, I guess, but
yeah. So if you haven't renewed, then you no longer have access to that game. But as soon as you do renew, you'll have access again, or you can just play it through Steven's account again if you have access.
Yeah, I might just try to do it on PC because I think I'd enjoy it more anyway. But
yeah.
But anyway, I that was fun. The other games on my list are Super Mario Maker, because you guys were talking about it in one of our top 10s, and I was like, man, I really got to try that. So I might borrow that from you.
Oh, for sure. I don't play it anymore, so you should definitely borrow it.
I just want to try it out. See what it's all about.
It's good.
I even put Battlefield 1 on my list because some coworkers were talking about it. So it's really enjoyable.
That's one I think I'd like.
Probably the biggest part of my list this year is to jump back into developing my game that I've been working on. So that's on my list. New Valve game, exclamation point. I wrote that in there because Valve seems to be releasing something new for the Vive this year, but we'll see what that is. Inside, To the Moon, Shovel Knight, Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, and
some of my favorite games of all time right there in
the
that
Tomb
list.
Raider reboot.
Oh, so good, man.
There's no way I'm going to get through all these this year, though.
But they're all good games that you should definitely get to eventually.
Yeah, that's my list.
One of the games on the Humble Monthly, by the way, is called Jotun, which Steven was playing a couple weeks ago, and he loves. It's kind of Dark Souls-esque in that you're battling like bosses that are really challenging, but it's got a completely different art style. It looks really cool. It's got a very positive rating on Steam, but you own it now because you bought the January Humble Bundle. It looks really cool. Called Jotun, Jotun.
UN. Oh, that reminds me. Supposedly, it's not been confirmed, but supposedly FromSoft is releasing another game this year, and some people think it might be Bloodborne 2. So if
dude,
I'll be getting it.
Yeah, I would love a Bloodborne 2. That would be awesome.
I'm not so sure that's what it is, but let's hope.
Well, I know they've said they're developing a sci-fi-like game that's kind of like Dark Souls-ish, so it might be that.
Well, excuse me. My understanding is there's this guy named Miyazaki who is the mastermind behind Dark Souls. He was not involved with Dark Souls 2, which is why some people think it's not as good. And then he was involved with Bloodborne and then Dark Souls 3. And then he said he's not going to work on Dark Souls anymore. And he seems to imply he's not doing Bloodborne anymore either. But then you have FromSoft that they did Dark Souls 2, and they have like another developer team that does other games. So I'm assuming if there is a Bloodborne 2, it may not be quite as... It might be more like a Dark Souls 2. Still good, but maybe not quite as great as the first one, you know?
Right.
We'll see. But I think he's the one who's working on that sci-fi game that you're talking about.
Yeah,
that's
probably the case. So I have one more game that I actually was interested in it a year ago when it was first announced. It came out in January of last year. And I thought I would have played it by now. It's called The Witness. And it's Jonathan Blow's follow-up to Braid.
Oh,
remember Braid?
Yeah.
So The Witness is a completely different type of game. Like, it's a 3D environment. You're on an island, and you're basically solving line puzzles. Cool. But, it got perfect 10 out of 10s in a lot of review sites, and people said it was their favorite game of the year. And it sounds like a game that I would love. And so that's one I'm really excited about. And I haven't bought it yet, but I plan to buy it this year and play it. It hasn't gone cheaper than $20.
Adds to my list because that's one I played the demo and I thought it was so amazing. I definitely want to play that.
The thing about Fez, it's not only is it amazing, but it just keeps getting more and more amazing. Like, to be made by just a very small team, one guy mostly, Phil.
Right.
Although he had a partner do some marketing or other stuff. I don't know what. But the end of that game, like, I can't say because I don't want to spoil it, but they do something that will blow your mind. Well, at least it did mine. I would probably over.
I remember you talking about it in one of the top 10s. You said something.
Yeah, it's really incredible. He just adds layer upon layer. You think you understand the game, and then he adds a new layer. Like, whoa,
that's cool.
It's really cool. Yeah,
sweet.
So that's one I think you should play for sure.
I guess we were talking about hardware when we started. I guess there probably is some VR hardware that's going to be coming out. And that reminds me, I actually got to try the HoloLens for the first time last week. Have you heard of that?
I have. Did someone buy it for your work?
The Microsoft HoloLens is their AR.
That's a really expensive piece of equipment, isn't it? Isn't it like $10,000 or
It's like $3,000 to $5,000, I think. But this is the thing. It was interesting and the potential is really great, but it was also incredibly disappointing.
Really?
What happens is it uses some sort of technology that maybe is akin to the Kinect, and it scans the room and it maps the room around. So it has perfect tracking. What's amazing is you can like set menus and things up in your room digitally, and they'll perfectly stay on the wall. And you can shake your head and everything, and they'll just stay on the wall like they're pinned there,
Nice.
which is
That's
really
cool.
amazing. And so I played this one game where they tell me to kind of like map the room, and then I stand in the middle of the room, and it says, okay, these aliens are going to land, and you need to shoot them. So I'm standing in my office at work, and I look over at the wall, and a big spaceship like crashes into the wall and breaks into the wall in my office. And you can like see pieces of the wall coming off.
That's
And then
cool.
little bug aliens start crawling out of the spaceship, and you shoot them. And if you miss, you actually shoot holes into the walls in your office. It's really cool. Like it was amazing how good the tracking was. The bad
That's
part
cool.
is though, it's like you're wearing this cool visor headset thing that does all the work. It's totally wireless. It's really amazing. But everything you see is through a little box in front of you like this big. And that's
So
it really
if they could expand it somehow.
if they could give you some sort of like peripheral.
Mm-hmm.
So, and having played the Vive and other VR things, it was just really disappointing how small the field of view was. But as far as the tracking and everything, it was really amazing.
Someone was telling, it might have been you, but that some people have developed these contact lenses that basically function like the HoloLens, but completely, so that it covers all your periphery as well.
Well, I've heard a rumor.
You heard of that?
I haven't heard of that, but I've heard a rumor that there's another system that supposedly shines lights into your optic nerve, and all you need.
Oh, maybe that's what
all you need is basically like a light the size of a fiber optic hair, and that's small enough, but they somehow shine it right into your optic nerve and like project into your eye somehow, so that you see things all around you. But that technology hasn't actually been released. It's only rumored to exist. So
yeah.
Anyway, I think as far as hardware goes, VR it's just the beginning, and AR and all that. I think AR is going to end up becoming more popular. I mean, Pokemon Go just exploded, right? That's kind of a version of AR on the phone. I think we're going to see that kind of stuff become more mainstream the way smartphones have over the last decade. And so I think AR is going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what kinds of devices show up. I think VR will also improve, but it's still going to be more for gaming and like learning experience stuff. So that's something to look out for this year. I think there are going to be some pretty interesting advancements in the next year. So
nice, cool, exciting times ahead.
Yeah. Any last words before we play some Rocket League?
Nope. Other than, well, I'll just say this. We'll end on a foreboding note, because you said you're talking about that technology that hasn't been released yet.
Yeah.
Last night we watched an episode of The Blacklist where there's this group of people who go around like killing people who are developing technologies that they don't want to get out. So like if people are on the breakthrough of something that may reduce the money in other people's pockets, like,
or
they'll
state control.
They'll kill the inventor so that the technology never comes to light, and they'll destroy all the evidence.
You know, there's some pretty strong conspiracy theories out there that that's exactly what happens to some of those like advanced car technologies where they like run on water and other things. You heard about that? The oil companies basically buy them up or silence them.
Well, you know, as a diabetic, I'm always of the opinion that we would have had a cure for diabetes long ago had it not been for pharmaceutical companies wanting to
the insulin market. That's
maintain their hold on the insulin market.
It really is sad, but it's probably true that there is not a huge push for cures in a lot of cases. Things like depression as well. They'd much rather keep you buying a prescription every month.
Yeah.
Right? Ah, well, that is depressing. That's why we have video games to escape into, right? That's why video games exist.
Yeah. Let's go. Yeah, let's go play some Rocket League. I have to make sure Jocelyn's okay with it because.
Well, then real quick, any just like maybe 3 movies or books that you might be looking forward to that are coming out this year?
Oh, I was just looking at some movies I'm excited about. Okay, so I'm honestly excited for the new Pirates of the Caribbean. I know
The
people
trailer
say their
looked good.
quality's dropped off, but I love Pirates of the Caribbean. That's coming out soon. We saw a movie yesterday called A Monster Calls, which is so good.
I feel like
And
I've
it's
heard of
not
it.
a monster movie. It's a movie about a little boy who's coping with his mother who has cancer. And it'll make you cry if you see it. And Jocelyn and I sat in the theater last night and bawled for like an hour, but we loved it. It was such a good movie.
Cool.
A Monster Calls.
I
Good
feel
one.
like I've heard of it.
I'm of course excited for the new Star Wars that's coming out at the end of this year. I'm excited for Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Oh yeah, and Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I'm looking forward
Oh
to that.
yeah, that one's gonna be
I have
awesome.
to say, of all the movies coming out this year, and I even think, isn't there like an Avenger or a Justice League movie coming out too?
Is that coming out this year? Am I? I don't know.
I don't know, but I have to say, of all the movies that are coming out this year, besides maybe Star Wars, I think the one I'm most looking forward to is Lego Batman.
Oh yeah, dude, that comes out in like 2 weeks.
I
too.
know. That just looks so good. It's just my kind of
Yeah,
humor.
Peter's really excited.
I
about
love
that
the
one.
Lego animation. I love everything about those movies. So I'm really looking forward to that one. I saw Moana last week.
Books, I'm not. Oh, what'd you think?
Oh, super good. Really good.
Good.
Better than Frozen for sure. Yeah. And
Anything's better than Frozen.
here's another movie. I don't know if it's because I had no expectations, but you know, Alice Through the Looking Glass is on Netflix, and so we watched that as a family over the last couple days. Like we watched it on and off.
Mm-hmm.
I really, really liked it a lot. I was surprised
I gotta
by
see
how
that
much
too.
I liked it. I liked it better
Because
than
critics
the
didn't
first
like
one.
it, but Jocelyn and Peter went to see it, and I didn't. I haven't seen it yet, but Jocelyn and Peter loved it, and Jocelyn was
The thing is,
amazed.
it was sort of convoluted. You could tell that it was sort
Alice
of.
Through the Looking Glass.
Yeah, I really liked it.
It's on
Jocelyn really
Netflix.
liked
You
it.
guys should watch it as a family.
It's on Netflix now, so I should watch it.
I was sort of surprised by how much I liked it, and I have to say it was so filled with visual effects. Like the whole movie was just constant visual effects, and they were really high quality the whole time. Like I was really impressed. The
Cool.
the story was really colorful and fun too. I liked it better than the first one. So
Cool. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna see that. It's a good one.
and then there's Dunkirk.
As far as
That's one I'm looking forward to.
Dunkirk. Yeah, any Christopher Nolan movie is one I want to see.
Yeah.
As far as books go, there's some books that I need to read that are like old, but books coming out this year. The only one I know of is the Way of Kings one.
Yeah.
Kingkiller.
Isn't
that coming out this year?
I feel the same way. The Oathbreaker, is that what it's called?
Oh, yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'm
That
excited.
one should be coming out this fall, and I'm looking for it. He's already on his third revision. He's almost done with the third revision on that book, so
Sweet.
finally happening. Cool. Well, good talk.
Yeah, that was fun.
All right. Well, I'm gonna say goodbye and stop the broadcast, but then we can decide after what we're gonna do.
I'll text you if I can play.
All right. Cool. Thanks.
Okay. See you, man.